There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another fun episode, and look at that. Surprise, surprise. I wasn't sure if he was going to join, but the business well. I think we both weren't sure if we were going to do this today, but we're gonna. Here we go.
The Insurance Bro Show is a podcast for agents who want to grow their agency and be titans of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the Insurance Bro, James Cias.
All right. There it is. Sure enough, my bro jumped on. I totally was not expecting it. But for all the rest of you insurance pros, let's dive into another fun episode. But before we do, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded insurance agents find value from our awesome guests as we rise up in the podcast rankings. I will sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, would love to have you on and learn from you as well. Go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest to schedule your time slot. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media at Insurance Bro Show. So, dude, super last minute, right? Hadn't even created the event, hadn't done anything. And I was sitting.
I checked it like 5 minutes before and I was like, I guess he's not going to make it today.
Psyching myself up for it, right? I was just, I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's the week of Christmas. I know you're not doing the Business Bros podcast. So I'm like, do I do this? Do I not? Like, I have every excuse not to, but consistency is key. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. And it's in the back of my head. But like, I also kind of don't want to, not burden you, like, but I'm like, you know what, like even if you're not here, like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna start talking into the mic. I'm just gonna do this damn thing because I just need to get there, right? Like, you have done, I don't know how many shows on your own. I mean, at this point, when you're doing shows on your own, you're talking to someone, you have a guest, but you have done shows without a guest, without me, and those are,
they're rants, they're raves, they're you talking about a particular topic. It works, dude.
Exactly. And so, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna carry this show. I'm gonna put it on my shoulders. I'm just gonna fucking rock it. Like, I don't care. Like this is what we're doing. I do this show every day. This is just part of what I do, and I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna do it. So it was 2:29 and 30 seconds, and I just finished up, the title. I was like, what am I going to talk about? And I looked down, and of course, here's my weekly planner, right? And at the very top is my core values and my why statement. And I'm like, you know what? That's as good a topic as any. Like, these are the things that drive me. These are the things that make me who I am. And one of the last one that was on that list is courage. Right. And so consistency is not actually one of my core values, but it's just something that we practice. But courage is on there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Like, I don't care.
No more cowardly lion.
No more cowardly lion. Like, I'm going to do this. And, so I write that in there as the intro, as the one-liner, as the description. You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. I want to say it was a Hank Williams song. But I'm not 100% sure, and somebody out there who truly loves, old school country music like that can definitely correct me. But anyway, so core values and why. In other words, the why statement. So this is where I was going with this episode today. At first I want to talk about the why statement and the power behind it. One of the very first things that I did when I joined my my mastermind group was to try and figure out what my why statement was. For those of you that haven't seen it, I would really highly recommend that you go over to the YouTube and do a quick lookup of Simon Sinek, right? Simon Sinek. He's an author. He wrote Starting with Why, and then he wrote another book called Finding Your Why. So what I was recommended to do, and it worked for me, so maybe it'll work for you, do that search for Simon Sinek and look for, I think it's called the Golden Circle. And he goes in there and he talks about the why statement and why it's so important, how it drove Apple from being the company that it was back in the 80s and early 90s, where it was almost going bankrupt, to the phenomenon that it is today, the first $1 trillion company ever in our world.
With a T.
With a T. Trillion. So just doing a little bit of math here, I was reading about this and I looked it up. I saw it on a meme or something. So if you were to count, one number per second, it would take you 11 and a half days to get to 1 million, right? 11 and a half seconds. I'm sorry. 11 and a half days is how many seconds is 1 million seconds. Blech, I can get that out. So the next one up to get to billions, you're talking 31 years. 31 point some odd years. So to get from 1 million is 11, a million seconds is 11 and a half days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. To get to 1 trillion seconds, it's like 31,000 years.
Holy moly. 1 trillion.
That's, they have that much money. They've made that much money. Apple has made that much money. So they go from this company back in the 80s that is almost going bankrupt to being the first $1 trillion company in the world. And the reason why is because they discovered better than anybody else their why statement. Now, I don't necessarily have it written down. It's not something that they have written down, but Steve Jobs knew it, felt it, and ran it through his entire company to a point where, there's no... Sorry, I had to turn off the do not disturb, people bothering me. There's no question as to how or why they operate the way that they do. And so that's, starting with why or watching that video kind of gives you that basis of the power behind knowing the reasons why you do a thing. So my personal why statement, I've read this a million times on the Business Bros pod. I think I've probably read it on here at least once or twice. But my why, I am inspired to spread positivity and empower others to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow so that we all might thrive in life's abundance and pass that opportunity on to those we hold dear. This why statement, it started, I really started digging into it after Danny died, after my brother passed away, was killed last year. We couldn't go see his body, right? We didn't have the funds, we didn't have, and his kids didn't get to go see that. And not that they necessarily wanted to. I mean, mom was not a fan of that idea anyway, for various reasons. Mostly, body decay and not having that kind of a memory for the kids, whatever. But the bottom line is that, because of this situation, because the money wasn't there, the life insurance wasn't there. We tried, but it wasn't there. So the funds weren't available to get everybody where they needed to be or to transport his body home so that everybody could have that closure that, and we were doing, or they were doing, a lot of the same things that we see on the streets all the time. We see the car washes and we see the fundraisers and we see the GoFundMes and we see all these different things. And it was in that moment, it was in that time that I was like, I don't want other people to go through this. I want other people to have something that, that we didn't have, something that is going to help them get set up so that they can have that generational wealth. When I talk about generational wealth, it doesn't necessarily mean kids. I'm probably not ever going to have kids, but, I can leave something behind to, to your kids, Nan, or to Danny's kids, or to, anybody else that is important to me in my life. It's being able to pass these things on. That's what, creating the generational wealth is really about. And in what we do, in what I do every day, that's such a big part of it. First of all, spread positivity, right? That's the number one thing. It's so important for me to get up and wake up on the right side of the bed and want to be a positive influence in the world. I can't be around negative people too much. When I'm around complainers, I get really, really, turned off to their attitude and their aura and their general way of being. It's just like, like
Victim mentalities.
victim mentalities, and it's always happening to me, not for me. And I mean,
More
some
power
people
to you,
operate. Some
but
people
it's not for
operate
me.
that way. Exactly. It's I'm going to have this is my tiny mug, right? This is
Tiny
my big
mug.
mug. Okay. I take my big mug and I pour it into the tiny mug and I drink it because it stays nice and hot that way for just as long as I want it to. It's like it's got the nice cool down. Anyway, none of that really matters. The point is, I have like this much patience for those types of negative people because I can't have them in my life for too long. But if you're bringing positivity, like I got a big mug for you. Like let's hang out, and this thing stays hot forever, right? The Contigo mug, there we go, that way, stays hot forever. This one, it's going to cool down really fast. And if I don't drink it fast enough, I'm just going to dump it out because who likes, cold tea or coffee?
Okay,
or
little
whatever.
side note. Is that a clip? The handle's a clip?
The handle is a clip. This came from Yosemite. There you go. You can kind of see it there.
Go
Came
climb
from
a rock?
Yosemite. Yep.
Nice.
Says go climb a rock. And goes right
Yeah,
there.
so
My girlfriend brought that
backpack it.
back for me. Yeah.
Yeah, all right,
Brought that
cool,
back for me
cool, cool.
from
I like
Yosemite
that.
when she went. So anyway, so the point is, lead with positivity, right? Starting off like I am inspired to spread positivity first and foremost. So that's the first thing I want to do. And I want to empower others to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow. I want to make sure that the things that I'm doing, the things that I spend my time doing are going to help other people. We run an insurance agency. We've got 30 agents under our belts, right? We've got 30 agents that we work with. And every day, day in and day out, I'm busting my butt to try and help them be more successful. On top of the 30 agents, I don't talk to the 30 agents nearly as much as I should. I'll get to that word later. Nearly as much as I should, but the people that I do talk to are our Agent Support Rockstars team, and I want to empower them too. I want to empower them to create that wealth and create, generational wealth for tomorrow as well. Talking to them and being leading that team. I barely consider myself the leader anymore, but I guess, by proxy I am. But they're the ones that, I want to empower them. I want to give them the space, the autonomy, to the room to grow and to learn and to, be everything that they want to be within this business. There's a book that I read not too long ago. Is called Help Them Grow or Watch Them Go. And if you just by the title, right?
Mhm.
Help them grow or watch them go. And so that's the first thing that I want to do, right? Spread positivity, empower others, get people to a point where they can do better for themselves than they could yesterday. And so everything that I do is geared towards that. How can I make the people that I work with, how can I make their experiences better? What can I do to empower them, to help them, to, see their success grow? Because the more that their success grows, the more I empower them, the better a job that I do to make their job easier, the better it's going to be for me. I mean, when it comes right down to it, right, we're all in it for the money, right? Adam Dawes was an inspiring guy because he's like, man, I just want the money, right? That's I'm not going to bullshit. I'm not going to bullshit around. Like, I don't care. I just want the money. I'm like, cool. Right? We all want the money. We're all in it for the money. But there's so much that we can do with the money. And you already know my thoughts on this. I'm such a socialist, I know. But, when it comes to money, there's only so much a man needs. The rest is just for showing off. And I want to give a lot of it away. Like, I want to help people find their own paths to success. I want to help people create that wealth today, Stupid Wire. Create that wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow. I want to help find ways to help people build businesses that they can pass on to their children so that we all can thrive in life's abundance today, right? That's happening today. There is an abundance in the world. I know we're going through a tough time right now. I know 2020 has been a shit year. I know it's crazy right now and all kinds of stuff is going on, but you know what? There is abundance in the world. Like, it doesn't stop. There's there's enough pie for everybody. And just because I get a piece of the pie doesn't mean that you can't get a piece of the pie too. There's enough out there for everybody. And so I want to help people understand that too, right? Create wealth today, thrive in life's abundance today, right? Because it's there. It's there. You don't have to wait for tomorrow. It's here today. And then you can pass that opportunity on to whoever it is that you hold dear. I went back to that. I don't have kids. I'm probably not going to have kids. Sorry, mom. Sorry, dad. But it's fine. I want to be able to pass it on to maybe organizations that I believe in, or to your kids. They're probably going to make their own fortunes. Danny's kids are going to make their own fortunes. They're going to make their own successful lives, but passing that opportunity on to whoever it is that you hold dear, or whatever it is that you hold dear. That's what drives me. All of these things are what gets me up in the morning at 4:40 on that 5 a.m. call. Shout out to the Justice League, right? Getting on there and doing all of these things so that my energy is going towards this cause. My energy is going to make sure that the people that I interact with, the families that I touch, the agents that I work with, everything that I do is to help others grow, be successful, create wealth, pass that on.
That's power, dude. And we talk about this all the time, and it's funny because you spend a lot of time digging deep. And I've told you, I haven't said it probably on the show, but like I kind of I take on our why statement. Like I didn't create our why statement. I give you feedback and I give you what my thoughts are, but then you kind of wordsmith it out, and I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like that's what we need to do, and it definitely fuels me the same kind of way. Like being able to help people is a powerful thing, and we all help people in our own ways. But for those of you who are getting started and it's at the beginning and you're not really thinking about helping people, you're thinking about helping yourself, and you have this weird sensation inside you, like you don't want to say that. You don't want to say that you're in it for the money, or you're in it to pay your bills, or you're in it to, get that Lamborghini that you're after. It's okay. I want you to, I want to make sure that you're aware when you start off, that is natural. The seed of greed is part of what's going to get you to that next level, and it's okay to feel that way.
Let me touch on that real quick. So talking about my mastermind group, right, Junto, when I talked to the founder originally, it would have been early 2019 or maybe late 2018. I don't exactly remember, but when I first talked to him, one of the first questions he asked me is, what is your definite major purpose? What is your definite chief aim, definite major purpose? You remember what book that's from?
No, I don't remember.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah. Classic.
Think and Grow Rich, right? Classic. As soon as he asked me that question, I was like, oh, okay. We're going to Napoleon Hill on this. All right, I got you. What is your definite major purpose? What is your chief aim? And like, I thought about it for a second and I was like, man, I just want to make $30,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's all I've been thinking about for however long, $30,000 a month. And I'm like, that sounds shitty. Like that's such a terrible.
You feel bad for admitting that to yourself.
Right. Or to, this
anybody else.
Anybody else. Exactly. But that's what it's, that's where it started. And, it starts with that, but there's so much more to it. And it goes back to, like I was saying, what can you buy with that money? $30,000 a month sounds great. But what can you buy with it? Right? Have you ever actually tried to spend $30,000 a month?
Yeah, it gets really tough after a while.
It does.
You're like, all right,
I would love to share this with anybody who's listening. Okay, if you want this spreadsheet, you know what? Drop in the comments $30,000. All right, type it out. Put a $, whatever, something. Drop 30K. A comment, okay? 30K, however you want to write it in there. And I'm going to share my spreadsheet with you, okay? In this spreadsheet, here's what you're going to do. You're going to play a little game, all right? This spreadsheet, you're going to make a deposit from the universe, all right? And the universe is going to give you $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. How much do you want?
Whatever that number is.
Whatever the number is to you, okay? And then here's what I want you to do with that spreadsheet. First of all, pay your normal bills. Okay, pay your bills as they are today. All right. And watch that number go from 30,000 down to whatever,
27.
28,000, 27,000, 25,000. I don't know. Right. Whatever that number is. All right. And then when you are doing your Christmas shopping, right, everything that you wish you could buy, buy it, put it into your spreadsheet. Okay. And type that in there on the far right hand side, put the link to that thing that you wanted, right? And put the exact price and just subtract.
I was gonna say, do the actual research, right? So like if you want to go to Disneyland full on trip, you go online and mock book the trip so you know what the dollar amount is, and then put it in that spreadsheet. Spend the money.
Exactly. Pretend to spend it. Okay. Again, drop a comment. $30K, $30,000, dollar signs, whatever. Drop a comment if you want this spreadsheet, because I promise you, you go through this exercise for 1 month. All right. And maybe in your first month, you're actually going to spend the $30,000 because you're excited and you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to go to Disneyland. I'm going to buy a Tesla. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that, blah, 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 whatever. Right. Put some money down on Tesla. Okay. Maybe you're not going to buy a whole full out Tesla just yet, but you can put half the money down for it or something, whatever. Bottom line, play this game. All right. And the point is to understand just how much you actually need to do, how much crap you need to buy to spend $30,000 a month.
Every month.
Because
every month. First month, easy. Second month, not bad. Third month, you start like, what the heck? Fourth month, you're like, oh my gosh, like I already have everything.
I did it for 4 months, I want to say. And it's exactly right. By that third month, I was like, shit, like, what else do I want to buy? I already bought everything I wanted. I paid off all my debts. I paid off all of this. I bought all of that. I did all this trip. It's like, I can go on another trip. Okay, cool. Like that's $1,000, right? To go to Europe, right? $1,500 to go to Europe. Okay, that's cool. I'll take 10 of my friends. Okay, you just spent $15,000. You still got 15 left. Like, what are you gonna do? It's a lot. It's more than people realize. It's still not a lot of money either, right? So you imagine $30,000 a month. That's $360,000 a year. I'm still not even worried about Biden's tax plan, right? It's only going to affect people with an income of $400K or higher. So I'm still not worried about it. And when it comes right down to it, $30,000 a month. What is LeBron's contract? $120 million a year?
Yeah.
Right? What's 360,000 compared to that?
Nothing.
Like that,
a drop in the bucket.
That's the kind of money that, that's out there. Right? That's why, like, just trying to spend that amount of money in your head, in the spreadsheet, in whatever, just trying to spend that amount of money, and then imagine how much more is out there. That's the point of abundance, right? There's so much. There's so much. And just because you get your piece doesn't mean that it's taken away from anybody else's.
Plus, that's a great perspective exercise, dude. Like all of a sudden, you're putting yourself in a position, you're seeing the things and materializing the things that you want to achieve in life. And then you start getting, again, the whole idea was, greed is going to take you to a certain level, right? The fact that you're greedy at the beginning, and yes, you are in it for the money, and yes, you are in it for the nice luxury things, that's great. But at a certain point, by doing this exercise, you realize that it goes beyond the greed. And that's where you start to really hone in on your core values. That's where you really start to hone in on your why statement. That's where you really start to hone in on all this other stuff. And that's why it gets me when I talk to entrepreneurs and, you ask them what they want, and right away they jump to, I want to help the world and I want to solve, hunger for everybody. Yes. I get that. Right. But what do you want now? Like, we have to start with that essence of greed first, right? Because that's what's going to fuel you to have some sort of success. And then once you have a little bit of success where you're taking care of yourself, now you can dive deep into what it is that you want to do for everybody else.
Yep.
Right. Unless you're starting a nonprofit and you're on a different, starting something else. If you're starting a business, which is a for-profit business, right? Your purpose in life is to be of service to others, and your business's purpose is to make a profit.
Yeah.
So you have to make a profit.
Yep.
Hands down.
And that's that's the first thing. But yeah, what you were saying, getting into the core values, like that's where you start to discover what you're actually going to do with that money. Right? Like, I think that that's where I started to realize, okay, well, my core values, right? My core values are freedom, positivity, authenticity, adventure, generosity, and courage. Right? I'm reading them from the page, but I promise if I have to, read them from memory, I still got them. It just takes me a second longer. It's easier to look down to the paper. But starting with freedom, right? That freedom to do whatever the hell I want.
When you want.
When I want. Where does that come from? That comes from the money, right? That comes from what the money that I make through helping others. Okay. I mean, you said it. I don't remember where it came from originally, but you'll make the most money by helping the most people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the more people you help, the more money you're going to make. And boom, you can have time freedom. You can have location freedom. I started reading this all on Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. You get time freedom. You get location freedom. You get work freedom. So like you can work whenever you want to or not work. And freedom to me, like it's number one. Like I want all of that. I want to live in a van and travel around the country with my dog and live in the van. Like the van life attracts me. I love it. I love that idea. And just go wherever I want and do whatever I want. And then, stay.
And then when you get tired of that,
have a place to come back to.
That's it.
And
then when you get tired of that, go off and do it again.
Hit the road again. Exactly. Having that freedom, keeping the positivity. That's number 2. Keeping the positivity the whole way through, right? I mean, look, I'm not always positive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a robot. I am human. I have bad days. Last week sucked. Last week was shitty for me. It was terrible. It was just, I was losing myself. But despite all of that, it's still something that I wake up every day and I strive for it. You gotta be after it. I cannot accept that I'm just gonna be negative forever. You know what? This too shall pass. It's going to get better. This too shall pass. It's going to get better. This too shall pass. It's going to get better. 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 It's just that positive, that optimism, just keeping that mindset. It's going to be okay. Positivity, authenticity. Ooh, right? Can I? Oh, there it is.
The heart on the sleeve.
The heart on the sleeve. I can't get away from it. I was born with it. There is nothing that bothers me more than not being authentic and true to myself. Nothing that bothers me more than not being authentic and true to myself. And, I want to deal with people. I want to be in business with people who are also equally authentic, right? Don't want to be in business with liars. Don't want to be in business with people who don't stay true to their word. Now, I'm not perfect again, right? I'm human. I make mistakes. Sometimes I say I'm going to do something and I don't follow through. I do it. All right. But I do my best at all times to be as authentically true to me and to the things that I say as often as possible. Adventure. Freedom and adventure kind of go together, but it's all about, what fun experiences can we have in this life? This life is only so long, right? I mean, I'm going to live to be 102. I don't know about the rest of you, right? I'm going to live to be 102. And in my 102 years, I got a lot planned. Like, I don't plan to retire, quote unquote, until I'm in my mid 70s. Then I might get a lake house, with my 5 dogs. Right. But until then, 5 dogs. Until then, there's a lot of world to see. And I want to see it all. And I want to jump off of cliffs. And I want to hang glide over, rainforests. And I want to bird watch in the jungles. I want to do all of these wild, exciting things. So adventure is just super, super important to me. That's why this girl brought me this Yosemite cup. I was so jealous that she was out there on her own for a few days. I was like, oh, that's where I want to be. Adventuring. Generosity is number 5. This is huge, man. I mean, you guys call me a socialist, and that's fine. I don't mind it, because when it comes right down to it, like Forrest Gump said, there's only so much money a man needs. The rest is just for showing off. If I can give more and more and more and more and more of it away and find ways to help people. You know what I read today? A statistic I read today. The America's like top billionaires, you know, the Bezoses and the Bill Gates and the Zuckerbergs and all of these folks, they could give every single American $3,000 as opposed to this crummy $600 stimulus, right?
Mhm.
They could give every American $3,000 and still be richer than they were before the pandemic started. Like, that's how much money they have. I'm not saying, you know, that they have to give it away, but I'm just saying, like, that, come on, like, what are you going to do with that much money? Anyway, generosity for me, like, I will never be as rich as them because I will always find ways to give it away.
Man, I'm gonna go on a side note there. It's not always cash rich. It's the other side of that is stock rich, right? So it's paper money, not actualized gains, right?
Totally.
The other side of that is oftentimes what they do with it are create more companies, which create more jobs, which gives people opportunity. So it's not like they're hoarding it all and, like, you know, Scrooge McDucking it, right? They're not doing that.
I mean, Apple is. Do you know how much they have in cash?
What does that tell you? That means you should probably be following suit and storing your cash for the opportunities to come. That's what it tells me, right? So they're strategic.
I'm just saying. I know. My point is, I'll never be as rich as that because I'm always going to find ways to give it away.
That's cool too.
And that's cool too. There's only so much that I need. $30,000 a month. I'm happy. And the last one, talked about it, courage. So what got me on here today is I'm going to live by that. I'm going to die by that. Consistency, courage, going to be here, going to make it happen.
Courage doesn't mean you're not scared.
Courage does not mean I'm not scared, because I was like nervously like, I don't know if Nan's going to be around. I'm going to do this myself, even if he doesn't show up. So
courage does not mean you're not scared. It doesn't mean you walk up to the edge and you feel nothing. It means you walk up to the edge, you feel it, you acknowledge it, and you do it anyways. That's courage.
Absolutely. Courage to act, even when it's hard, even when it's coming at a high cost. Boom. All right, ladies and gents, that's all we got for y'all today. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, really appreciate every single one of you. If you like what you hear, if any of this brought you value, would love if you would subscribe and rate and review, leave us a comment. Again, if you want my cool spreadsheet, play that game where you want to spend $30,000 a month. I promise. If you go past 4 months, and send me the spreadsheet after you've done it, I'll give you a $25 gift card out of my own pocket.
Boom.
Right? So drop a comment.
30K.
Money signs, 30K, whatever. Drop a comment. Tell me that you want this spreadsheet. And if you go more than 4 months, I'll give you a $25 gift card.
There you
go. All right.
Go.
Other than that, check out theinsurancebroshow.com/guest if you want to be a guest on the show. Thank you, Joseph. Did we call him Joey as kids? I don't remember. Yeah, I thought
Joey.
so. I was like, yeah, Joey and Jesse, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, memories. Imperial Beach Little League. Woo!
IB, baby.
Good times. InsuranceBroShow.com if you want to be a guest on the show. Otherwise, follow me on all my social media at Insurance Bro Show. Appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. As always, you rock my socks. You have my heart. And
have a nice day.
You.
Thank you for tuning in to the Insurance Bro Show. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you're an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com. Look for James on all social media